Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And welcome to the Weird Science Comics channel here on YouTube, where I'm going to be going through Detective Comics number 1023, an issue that is a journey to the Joker War, written by Peter J. Tomasi with art by Brad Anderson. And we have had a Two-Face story going through this Detective Comics book. It was a story that Peter J. Tomasi had started way back in his run on Batman and Robin in the New 52, which ended with Two-Face seemingly committing suicide. The whole bullet lodged in his brain has become and still will be a big factor in this. But once you get the Joker involved in a book, especially a Batman book, it is going to pretty much overshadow a lot of what has been going on, especially if it is leading to the Joker War, which this is. And we do start out with the Joker. The last part of the last issue, the cliffhanger, seemed to hint at the Court of the Owls, and the hint pretty much was what it was. It's the Court of the Owls. The Joker, with a little miner's cap on, which is pretty funny, is going down below Gotham and going to the graves of the Talons of the Court of the Owls. And one in particular, as he's going, he's trying to find the one that is labeled LM. If you have been reading Batman, especially Court of the Owls stuff, since it started with Scott Snyder back in the New 52, you will know right away that this is Lincoln March that he's going for. And indeed it is. He ends up going and injecting him with the formula that he ended up getting and waking up the Talon that is big for Batman and Bruce Wayne. Lincoln March at one point claimed to be Bruce Wayne's lost brother. All these things going on, and he seems to pop up and then die a lot. So he's here, he's coming back, he is the Talon, and that is pretty cool. That's one of the callbacks in this issue that kind of made me smile. There's another one that actually made me giggle, though it's based on something that most people hated. But we're going to move on, and you have to have Batman in a Batman book, and you end up having Batman doing detective work. And he's doing detective work, the kind that you punch people and find out information. You hang them from buildings, things like that. He needs to know where you have Harvey Dent. Where is Two-Face? Where is he at? He's going through a lot of people punching and, shucking and jiving here. And he ends up where he does find Hugo Strange. He finds that the trail leads to Hugo Strange. He starts to beat him up. This is a detective that uses the fist questions a lot. And he's yelling to Hugo, where is Two-Face? Where is Harvey Dent? Well, you end up having Hugo not really wanting to tell. And then you end up having a Mad Hatter who is there as well that wants to screw around with Batman, like he usually does, and ends up making Batman have to face the fears, have to face the people he loved that he had let down. You end up seeing Nightwing, Gordon, end up with even Alfred, and Batman can see through it. Batman knows what's going on, says pretty much, how dare you use the people that I love? How dare you use them, the people I care about, to go against me? Ends up knocking out Mad Hatter. I mean, Mad Hatter, he can do a lot of things. Not a real physical guy. He's kind of easy. I mean, Batman could knock him out easily. And when he does, he goes back to Hugo and says, hey, Mad Hatter got knocked out, and now you better start talking or we're going to have a problem. Now, Hugo tries to put up a brave face here. Obviously, he doesn't succeed in that, because as we go away from this, where Batman's pretty much saying, you're going to tell me what I want, you're going to tell it to me quickly, he does end up telling the whole deal that the bullet in Harvey's head actually has a tracker. It has a microchip. He can end up using a GPS to find him. It seems very convenient, but it makes sense enough, where he ends up going to where Harvey is holed up, the Gotham Police Armory. And this is where I giggled, because you end up Batman, he's trying to find Harvey, and then Harvey shows up in the Bat Bunny suit that, if you're not aware, this was the suit that Jim Gordon wore when he was Batman at the end of the New 52 into the DCYOU, where he was Batman, and people hated it. People hated it so much. It's the rookie suit. The whole idea, if you were even reading Detective Comics at the beginning of Rebirth, when James Tynion was right, you ended up eventually having the rookie in that as well. So it's kind of cool having Harvey in that suit. It did make me smile and actually giggle, but it's just for them to fight. They're going to fight. Batman knows how to disable the suit enough because he isn't there to kill Harvey. He's not there to hurt him. He is actually trying to help him, which he says as he's shooting a missile at him that looks like it's blown up half of Gotham. But he is there. He has a promise to Harvey about all this. And basically, I'm trying to save you. And I hope that Harvey in the suit does carry on into the Joker War, because that's an awesome team up. Just having the Rookie there with Batman always makes me smile, but having Harvey in the suit, that's pretty cool. And you end up, though, as an owl screeches by Batman. Batman tries to avoid it, and then it is Lincoln March, Talon coming, saying, "Hello, Batman." The Joker sends his regards, and you see a bunch of Talons behind, which is crazy to me, but that's what you're going to get. Now, if you are a fan of the Court of Owls and like the Talons, if you were like, boy, we haven't seen a lot of the Talons since the We Are Robin book, or man, we haven't seen a lot of the Court of the Owls since they were really lame in the Green Arrow book and even the Nightwing book, it seems like they've upped the ante again, at least the Talons themselves. They seem a little more kick butt here than what we've kind of seen lately, even with, having them in the Nightwing book, very, very recent Year of the Villain type deal. But this is pretty cool, and it's very personal to Batman. The thing that makes me wonder about this is, what is this book going to do during Joker War? A lot of the tie-in books obviously have other people. You have Barbara Gordon, you have Rick Grayson, and so you can play games outside of what's happening to Batman and Gotham. But Detective Comics is one of those, and this pointing to it, where I hope that there's a good synergy between this book and the Batman book. I'd hate to have Batman going around fighting Lincoln March Talon while he's also doing stuff against the Joker, and then you start to wonder, like, how is this all going on at once? I hope that they work this well together. I hope that this does have, like I said, some synergy. This is a very, very quick issue. It's a very quick read. It is more about, again, the setup to the Joker, where a lot of these, even the main Batman book this week to me, was just setting up to the Joker War. So if you are just getting Detective Comics and not going off to read the Joker War, I think that you'll be very upset with this. I think that this is your book being hijacked. If you're like me and you're going to the Joker War and actually looking forward to it, there's enough here that made me smile and got me excited that I like this issue. I think that Brad Walker's art is great throughout. I think that it's really, really good. And I like the Bat Bunny suit. I like Lincoln March. I like the Talons. So this is kind of my thing. It may not be yours. It's kind of my thing. Because of that, I'm actually going to give it an 8 out of 10. And I'm looking forward to see what happens with this during the Joker War. And that's the big thing for me, is a lot of these side books, people deciding, well, which tie-ins am I going to get? And this issue would have made me, if I'm going out and buying the books, all that, I would be, I'll get Detective. I'm in. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you thought. And I'd love to hear people who aren't Court of the Owls fans. Maybe some people don't even know what Court of the Owls is. I'd like to see what you thought of this book as well. But let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this and you're not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe and look at the links below for all sorts of weird science stuff, including our DC and Marvel podcasts and websites. When we do the podcast, me and Eric do the DC podcast, we end up going a little longer than me just talking quickly about these books. We go a little more in depth. So if you want to listen to that, go over to our podcast. It comes out every Sunday night, but that's it. And I hope that you enjoyed watching and listening to this. And thank you for doing both. And I'll talk to you later.